These tips will make you perform like a professional team principal. Let's get into it. First, we will take a look at development. One of the most important parts about development is the place where you actually develop new parts. And that would be in facilities design center. You want the design center to be at its highest upgrade possible. 5. Because at that point you will get 4 designs at one point, at one given time, and 20 engineer capacity. This is crucial. You need it at least 3, so that you can have 3 upgrade projects, but the best would be to have it at 5. And the reason for this is so that at the start of the season you can develop a bunch of parts as quick as possible, and then as the season go on you can start to go from 3 development parts for this season to 2 development parts and 1 research, and then if you have it on max you can have 2 and 2, and as the season go on you can have 1 and 3. Which is perfect, and it gives you an extra boost. The other parts of the facilities are also important, but not as important, as it only gives a little bit of a boost, but it's still important. Now for the actual development of car parts. Don't try and spend the same amount of effort and time on all of these parts, because that is just not the way to do it. You will not beat the bigger, faster teams this way. There's only a specific few, 3 in fact, that you need to focus on, with one very important part, the underfloor. That's the most important part to develop, because it gives you the most bonuses in these parts, the most important parts basically. If you look at front wing, you will see that it develops the same parts as the underfloor, but underfloor gives you much more bonuses to the stats compared to the front wing. Okay, so after underfloor you have front wing, which is important as well, and rear wing for top speed. So front wing for cornering, rear wing for top speed and acceleration. And after that it's chassis and suspension, just so that you don't fall behind, but you don't need to worry about too much about them. And then also the brake cooling and engine cooling, don't mind it too much. To be honest, there's no actual disadvantage in leaving them and not developing them. I don't see anywhere that you are going to be impacted negatively by just not caring about the brake cooling and engine cooling. Now, just a quick tip at focus, this next screen. The focus you can basically set to max, but you have to remember that moving these things around, this little focus points, increases the time it takes to develop your part, no matter which way you move it, as you can see. And I would also recommend moving everything to the right, because there's no negative parts about this. This will actually give you more bonuses. And then engine cooling, this is exactly how I would develop this part. The side ports, which I rarely actually develops, but I would still nonetheless do it like this if I were to have developed this one. And as you can see, it increased the time because I moved everything to focus, to the max focus. And yeah, that's a little tip on focus. Next up is finances and money and spending money. Now, when it comes to spending money, you don't have to worry too much about that. Feel free to spend basically as much as you can, because you will make more money. Money is not really an issue in this game. But if you are worried, come to this screen, finances, and then monthly balance. And here you can see that monthly balance is 4.6 million. So I'm making 4.6 million a month. Now, you need to remember that you still want to make money every month. You don't want it to be at zero, spending all of your money, because you will be designing new parts and that costs money. But if you want to upgrade the facility and you're not sure whether you can do it or not because of the upkeep, you can come here and you can see, well, the upgrade will cost me 640 million more a month. And then you can see, well, then there will be 4 million left to spend on developing parts or to save up money. And as easy as that, that's how easy it is to manage your money in this game. The next step I have to do with the start of every race. And this is my tip to you. Before you go out to start the race, go down here to driver options and set this to max. Okay? This will give you a boost around the track for the first lap, maybe first 2 laps, depending on what your strategies are and what your tires are. Don't be afraid to use fuel, but at this very start of the race, don't wait until you're in the race to set this before you hit start the race and get this going. Now, another little tip for you guys to get you some extra money. After qualifying, come to this screen, the sponsor screen, go to guaranteed slot, and here you can set how many positions your drivers will gain. Will he go from 7th to 3rd? And look at that, an extra almost $1 million you can make. Okay, use this to make extra money. Trust me, it's easy to make money in this game. Drivers. And what stats should you look for in your drivers before you sign them? Now, the first thing is you can hold on to all drivers. They don't really get worse, but they don't improve as much anymore. So basically, Alonso is not going to see the 90s again in his career, but at 86 he's still a very good driver. So you can hold on to them. You just need to check your budget and things like that. Now the second tip is to basically go and at least scout all the drivers. Now they are a little bit more of a strategy that I have, but for the most part you should use all your scouts to scout some drivers. If you need someone in the facility department like engineers and so forth, or developers or whatever, you can scout them, but for the most part always have a scout looking at least something, mostly drivers. And I usually go through this. I take the age and then I pick the few best overall ratings in that age and I scout them. Now I'll go into more detail on scouting and drivers and so forth in another video, but for this one just know that. Now for what stats to look for in your driver. So the most important stats to look for are cornering and braking. As you can see, Piastri has some really good cornering and braking for his age. He's only 22. But the third thing to look for is smoothness. This is how well he can look after his tires. Now, if you look at Esteban Ocon, you can see he has a 96 and Alonso has an 83. The two of them can really look after their tires. Now, Oscar, he's at 60, which means he can't push as hard as long on a set of tires because it will wear out a little bit quicker. But it's not that important to look for smoothness, but it is one of the things you want. And then after that, you can just look at overtaking and defending. It's not as important. The most important parts are cornering, braking, and then smoothness. Trust me. Now, boys, that is all from me today. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.